Hi, I'm James. Welcome to my new YouTube channel, the Decrepit E-Biker. This is my latest acquisition. It's an easy bike, sprint, Alpine 8-speed e-bike. Now, before any of you attempted to laugh at my choice of bike or get aggro at the legitimacy of e-bikes in general, I want to point out to you some of the reasons why this specific bike suits me in particular. So, first and foremost, it's probably pretty obvious that I'm getting on in years. And frankly, I'm starting to wear out. In particular, my hips. And my right hip in particular. The best I can get out of this hip is about a 2k walk, and it's pretty painful at that. But I still need to keep fit. So bikes seem to be another option, according to my friends. They're a little bit easier on the hips apparently. However, there's the issue for me also of my health. More than 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a tumour in my stomach. So I had my stomach removed, which was major surgery. And after that I had a period of chemotherapy. Since all of that, my health hasn't been the best. In fact, I suffer chronic pain and nausea on a daily basis. And in particular, I don't have a lot of stamina. So the prospect of riding a push bike up any kind of incline at all wasn't good for me. However, an e-bike is attractive because with an e-bike you've got electrical assistance to get you up those hills. So that's what first attracted me to e-bikes. Now with this bike in particular, the other thing that attracted me to it was the fact it's a step-through frame. Because with my hips, trying to lift my leg up over the back of the bike to get on it just wasn't going to end well. Also, the other advantage in a step-through is that you can come to a standstill on the bike and put both feet on the ground without being compromised by a bar across here. So that was a must for me. On the other hand, the green frame wasn't my first choice. Not one of my favourite colours. However, the green bike, was available for immediate take home, and so that was quite an attractive option. Also, my son did say to me at the bike shop, "Well, Dad, with that colour, it's unlikely that anyone will want to steal your bike." I'm not entirely convinced, but I guess that sealed the deal. The second thing is that because of my lack of stamina and health, it had to be an e-bike. And this bike has a 200 watt hub motor on the front wheel. Now you might be thinking, 200 watts is not a lot, and certainly you can get bikes with a lot more power than that. But I live in Australia, in the Australian Capital Territory, and the ACT law says that if you've got an e-bike up to 200 watts power, then in addition to the pedal assistance power, you can have a twist throttle on it. So if you're not sure what the difference is, with the pedal assist power, you must turn the pedals to get some power assistance. And as soon as you stop pedaling, there's no more assistance. Also, your speed limited. I'm not sure what it is in the ACT, so I won't even attempt to try and guess. Now the twist throttle, the difference with that is you don't have to pedal. You just twist the throttle on and bring the power on all the time, continuously. Of course, it does reduce your range. The main attraction for that with me was, I was thinking, well, what happens if I get caught out in the Never a Long Way From Home on one of the bike tracks, and I'm overwhelmed with nausea and pain and I can't pedal anymore, then this will be my saviour, you know. That was my thinking anyway. I'll be able to pull on this twist throttle, sit on the seat and zoom home. Let's hope it works out that way. There is another advantage in the twist throttle I found. I've been riding this bike now for about 40 k's, and that's standing starts. To start one of these bikes off from standstill, you know, if you're just using pedal power, you've got to get those pedals turning, get up to a certain speed before the power cuts in. And I tend to wobble all over the place getting up to speed because I don't have good balance yet. Hopefully I will improve. But with a twist throttle, I don't even have to pedal. I can just zoom up the speed and start pedaling, and I look like an experienced bike rider. This bike also came with an upgraded battery. According to the bike shop, it's a 19 amp hour battery. Now, there's no such thing according to the manual. But, and also the battery, it's a Panasonic, and on the label it says 20 ampere hours. But that's not much different to 19 amp hours, so I'll go with 19. You can get an even bigger battery. I think it's around 28 or 30 amp hours. But according to the bike shop, that requires you to have the seat a fair way up. You can't have it maybe as low as what I've got it, or lower. So you might want to consider that if you're looking at a bigger battery upgrade. While we're on the electrics, my bike is fitted with a 9 power level LCD display. Now, according to the manual that came with the bike, it's supposed to have some sort of a LED controller with LED lights on it, and it's only a 5-speed controller. So I can't find anywhere in details about this controller other than what I was told in a brief overview at the shop and what I've been able to learn from trial and error. And in general, the bike manual is not that good. It's confusing in places. It doesn't cover all the specifics of my particular bike. Even the brakes are different. Hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear. So yeah, that's not in the manual. So while we're talking about the electrics, another minor issue for me, is that the battery's keyed, okay, to turn the power on. Just switch on. Oh, and by the way, when you turn the power on, your tail light here is on all the time. The battery's turned on. I'm not sure why, whether that's a legal requirement or something, or safety requirement, I don't know. The front light is also powered off the battery. Neither light has their own battery. But on the front light, there is a switch down on the light itself. And the problem for me with that is it's a bit hard to get to when you're riding the bike. I'd much prefer to have a switch for the front light up on the handlebars. Yeah. So, let's turn it off. Turn that off. Another minor issue is that there's 2 keys. I mean, there's a key for the battery to switch the battery on and off, and that battery has a dual purpose in the sense that it also has another position on it to unlock the battery and remove the battery. So you can pull the battery out here. But I don't know whether you can see it from there, but here there is installed comes with the bike, it's a wheel lock. And it has its own key. So you've got to carry 2 keys with you, which is annoying. I can't see why they couldn't have the same key for the battery as the wheel lock. But fairly minor quibbles, really. Another advantage of this bike is that it has an 8-speed internal hub gear on the rear wheel. So hopefully that'll mean less maintenance and less adjustment required. In addition to that, I think it's good for someone inexperienced like myself because you can pretty much change gear at any time during the ride, but specifically when you're stationary, you can still shift gears. What I have done, I've installed a few things on the bike that aren't standard. In particular, this rear vision mirror. Now, really glad I put that on. It's very helpful for seeing vehicles behind me when I'm on the road. So I do try to stay off the roads as much as possible at the moment, but until I get more experience. But and also on the bike tracks, I can see if anyone's coming up behind wants to overtake me. And that's important at my age because I'm not as flexible as I used to be. So turning around to look behind me, and my neck especially, it's really difficult. Also, I found when I'm on the bike, wherever I look, I tend to steer. No matter how hard I try, I just tend to turn the bike that way. So when I try to turn around, not only do I turn the bike that way, but I tend to lose my balance and lean over. So it's quite dangerous for me. Therefore, a rear vision mirror is essential. Another thing I added to the bike is the pannier bags. The reason for that is that ultimately this bike will replace my SUV for shopping, for going down to the local shops. I'm not talking about a really big shop, like a grocery shop. I'm talking where your trolley's absolutely full or you've got large items in your trolley. Obviously that's not going to go on the bike. I'm talking about the every other day when I go down for bread and milk or a few vegetables and things. I carry quite a bit on it in these bags, and also I've also purchased a basket for the front which I can clip on, so I can carry even more gear on the bike. And I almost always ride with a backpack where I keep my drink bottles, and I also carry a power brick in my backpack with a cable that comes around to my GoPro camera, which I strap on a harness on my chest. Initially, when I was filming my bike rides, I had the GoPro camera mounted here on the handlebars. And that turned out to be not so good because there's more vibration on the front of the bike, and also you tend to turn the handlebars a lot and swings the camera around, so it's not a good look. Plus, you can only see out in front of the bike, you can't see any of the bike. Whereas from the chest, you can see all of the controls on the bike, what I'm doing, and it's more of a bike riding experience. So I'm much happier with the camera, chest mounted. Pedals, they look pretty ordinary, don't they? And they are. There's some sort of hardened rubber material, but I feel it. The first time I went out on this bike, the very first ride, my foot kept slipping off. I'm not sure what that was. It might be just that I was getting used to pedalling after 70 years of never having, 30 years of not having ridden a bike. So, because I haven't slipped off them since. Will I need to upgrade them? I'm not sure. We'll have to see how they go when they get wet, I guess, if they're slippery or anything. Can't tell you anything. Oh, the brakes on this bike are very, very good. Those disc brakes. In fact, the first time I went out and pulled the brakes on, I shot straight off the seat. It gave me a huge fright. They're very powerful, and you do need that on the tracks I'm riding on at the moment out near my home. As you dip down under the underpasses, they're incredibly steep. So, need really good brakes. The other thing I like about the bike is the stand. There's two prongs on it, so it's self-balancing nicely. Less likely to get blown over in the window. I guess in a really strong wind, a bit of a problem. But ultimately, it will probably be tied up anyway to a bike stand when I leave the bike, when I'm not at home. I don't know whether I can tell you much more about it. It's got a very good padded seat. Like, I don't know about very good, but it's got a lot of padding on the seat. And I do need that because I'm a lightweight. I think at the moment I weigh about 59 kilograms. So I do have a lot of natural padding. So padding here is good. I did have to tilt the seat back a bit from its original setting because I was sliding off it from forward initially. Having said all that though, one of the things that really annoys me about this bike is it doesn't have any suspension on the back wheel. It has a bit of suspension on the front, but nothing on the back. And you really feel those bumps. What I have learned is that as you're approaching a bump, and you can usually see them, is that you have to stand up on the pedals, get off the seat, stand up on the pedals and bring your weight forward onto the front wheel more, and then it's a much better experience. There is one other thing I should have mentioned. This bike is supposedly fitted with puncture-resistant tyres, whatever that means. And I hope to goodness they are, because I don't know what I'm going to do if I get a puncture while out on the tracks, other than to ring one of my sons and say, "Help! Your dad's got a flat tyre." But so yeah, we'll have to see how that turns out. It's also got what do you call them? Mud guards on the wheels. They're plastic. They're very solid plastic, and they don't rattle as far as I can tell. So yeah, they're good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to cover every little detail of this bike because you look that up on the web. But we will learn about this bike, how it suits me or not, a bit more as we ride the bike. So my future videos will be bike rides. And so we'll be sort of reviewing the bike and reviewing, I guess, to some extent, the tracks I'm riding on. So until then, thank you for watching.